All right, this is a lesson on trigonometry. It is the introduction to the unit circle. Please go ahead and pause and read those first few paragraphs. So trigonometry means the measurement of triangles. So trigonometric functions with domains consisting of sets of angles were first defined by using right triangles. So we worked with right triangles in geometry and in Algebra 2. And we're going to introduce today the unit circle. The unit circle has a radius of 1, and the center is at the origin. So the equation for the unit circle is x squared plus y squared equals 1. So we can use this formula with the length of an arc as s equals r times theta to find the length of the intercepted arc as such. So looking down below on this image, you will have your x-axis and your y-axis, and then you have your unit circle, and then in that unit circle we'll have a radius of 1 unit, and then there's going to be some angle in there, what we call angle T, and then there's this arc length. So below is a completed unit circle with the special angles, and I'm just going to focus on this first angle of 30 degrees. So here's 30 degrees. Right here, or equivalent form of pi over 6. If you were to drop a right triangle down, so here would be a right triangle now in the green, this is your x distance, this would be your y distance, and then this is your radius. And your radius throughout the unit circle is 1 unit. This ordered pair you're going to become familiar with. This is your x distance, square root of 3 over 2. This is your y distance of 1/2 up. Where we get these numbers from are from our special right triangles, our 30, 60, 90, and our 45, 45, 90. So below here is a blank unit circle. Now I've just talked about the special right triangles. We learned about these in geometry. So if here is 45 degrees and 45 degrees and 90, these two sides opposite 45 are congruent, and then opposite 90 degrees will be x squareds of 2. For the 30, 60, 90, here is your 30 degrees, opposite will be x. 90 degrees, its length will be twice x, and then 60 degrees is x squareds of 3. So what we have, if I erase this now, (45 degrees, dropping a right triangle. This is 45 degrees here. This would also be 45 degrees there. This is your radius of 1. This would be the square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. These would be equal to each other. This is your y distance. This is your x distance. So around the unit circle, we will have essentially 3 types of special angles. So here's your 30 degrees or pi over 6. Notice the ordered pair is square root of 3 over 2 1/2. This angle here has the same ordered pair. It's just in the quadrant 2, 210 degrees. This is in quadrant 3, and 330 degrees, 11 pi over 6. Same ordered pair, but just sign changes. So when we're in quadrant 1, the ordered pairs for x and y will be a positive sign and a positive sign. When we go to quadrant 2, our ordered pairs are going to be a negative x and a positive y. In quadrant 3, we're going to have a negative x and a negative y. And then in quadrant 4, we're going to have a positive x term and a negative y term. All right. The next angle, pi over 4, or 45 degrees, notice these ordered pairs all match up. And then our last one of the 30, 60, 90. Now notice the ordered pairs on the quadrants. So here is 0 degrees, or 2 pi, or 360 degrees. It has the ordered pair over 1 up 0. 90 degrees, or pi over 2, has the ordered pair over 0 up 1. And then our last two. So on the quadrants, those are our ordered pairs and our angle measures. Now here is a blank one. My suggestion is to start to memorize using this blank sheet to come up with those ordered pairs. And what we're going to find out is these ordered pairs are going to help you to make up your 6 trigonometric functions. So the name sine for short, cosine for short, tangent, those are what we call the big 3. And the next 3, and their abbreviations, are the inverses of the big 3. In the yellow box are the values on the unit circle for the point on the unit circle that corresponds. So for the sine of t, so the sine of an angle measure, would be y. So let's go back to this slide. The first ordered pair is your cosine measure. The second part of your ordered pair, the y, is going to be your sine measure. So this would be your cosine, and that would be your sine. So looking at this yellow box, the sine ordered pair is going to be your y. The cosine will be the x. To find tangent, you divide y over x. Now the next 3 are the inverses of the sine, cosine, and tangent. We call these the cosecant, secant, and cotangent. The domain and range of a sine and cosine function. So the sine and cosine function's domain is all real numbers. The range of values, the y values, are -1 to 1. So you can see this image of your unit circle. And remember, the x is your domain. What can you substitute in? You can substitute any value in for x. For y, the range of values, they're everywhere from -1 up to +1. So here's our first example. We want to find the values of the trig function. So we're going to use this figure, and we have a point given to us. And what we want to do is find this on the unit circle to then find the angle measure. So here's your point. So we're going to go up to our and then here's our point, which represents 2 pi over 3 or 120 degrees. So I'm just going to add that to this slide. So this angle here is 120 degrees or 2 pi over 3. And what we're going to do is find the 6 trig functions. So we'll start off by finding the sine of t, which is 120 degrees. What is the sine of 120 degrees? Well, that's going to be your y value. So we go to our y. This is our y. And that exactly is the square root of 3 over 2. Now we're going to find, I'm going to leave a little space on purpose, the cosine of t. Represents the cosine of 120 degrees. Well, this is going to be your x on the unit circle. So that is -1/2. I'm going to leave some space. The tangent of t, so the tangent of 120 degrees, from our yellow box right here, is taking the y divided by the x of the ordered pair. So we have to take y and divide it by x. So we have square root of 3 over 2 divided by -1/2. So I'm just going to move over to this side. I'm going to keep, I'm going to change, I'm going to flip. Now I'm going to cancel those 2's and multiply across, giving me negative square root of 3. So this exactly is negative square root of 3. I'm just going to change colors. So what we found are the big 3, the sine, cosine, and tangent exact trig functions. Now we're going to work with the inverses. So the inverse of the sine is the cosecant. So we have to just go 1 over y. We're going to have to reciprocate. So we're going to take 2 over the square root of 3. Now anytime you see a radical in the denominator, if you remember, we have to rationalize it. So we're going to get 2 square roots of 3. The square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. All right, the next inverse function, so the inverse of the cosine is the secant. So we're going to go 1 over x. So we're going to reciprocate that x value, which gives us -2. Now the cotangent, the last, is x divided by y, or the reciprocal of that answer. So I'm just going to go over to here. 1 over negative square root of 3. And I'm going to rationalize it. So I get negative square root of 3 over 3.